Hello, traders, and welcome in a new daily market analysis session brought to you by the market research team at OnePro. Today is basically the last day of our trading week, a trading week that has been so poor in performance and in movements overall in the markets. If you're talking about the dollar index, the euro, the pound, as well as gold and the Dow Jones, I mean the major financial assets that we usually trade on, we didn't have any much or big movements to trade during this week. It was pretty much a sideways market for this week. However, today we are waiting for some key economic data from the US economy. We might start to see some movements. However, I really thought that maybe we can utilize this session today and talk about other currency pairs. I mean, the minor pairs or the not so important pairs that we do analyze every day. However, this will be including the Australian dollar, the Canadian dollar. Do we have any sort of good trade opportunities on the minor pairs or not? That's what we will discover during today's trading session. And of course, we will be having a quick look on the economic agenda and what do we have on our agenda for today. What are the markets highly awaiting for and why? All of this will be discussed in today's live session. So let's get going. Starting with the economic agenda for today, it's Friday, the 27th of January. We can see that there are pretty much no important data to look for except for the core PCE price index, which is the personal consumer expenditures, or this is basically the most important inflation data or inflation indicator that the Federal Reserve looks for. So yeah, we usually look for the CPI data. However, this to the Federal Reserve is more important. Usually, the Federal Reserve will not stop raising interest rates until this core PCE index is basically higher, is lower than the interest rate on the US dollar. So this is basically to be announced today, and it should be at 1:30 p.m. GMT time. Markets are highly waiting for this. It's expected to increase slightly on a daily or a monthly basis to 0.3%, only a slight increase. Of course, any decrease in this will be a great opportunity to have much volatility in the markets. So markets are hoping to see any decline in the core PCE month over month. And let's see how this will go. We do have also the personal income month over month and the personal spending. They are important indicators. However, they are not as much as important as the core PCE price index. Other than that, we don't have any information that we should look for. On a side note, we only have the pending home sales. Yesterday, we had the new home sales. It showed a slight increase to 616,000 new sales um, during the past month. So today we will be having the pending home sales. They are all indicators to gauge the strength of the housing market and the real estate market in the US economy. So that's quickly what we have on the economic agenda for today. Let's have a look on the technical analysis where we have a lot to say about today. Starting off usually with the dollar index. The dollar index has been trading in a very, very poor sideways range, let's say, during the past couple of days. I mean, past week, roughly, since the 18th of Jan. We have been trading in this descending triangle, not so good descending triangle, because even the limits, the upper limit and the lower limit, it's not a clear line that you can draw on your chart. It's the band, or let's say a threshold where prices reflect and rebound to the downside or even rebound to the upside. You can see how many times we rebounded in and out inside this sideways range. And simple analysis of the move or the wave analysis here, we can see it's all a three wave pattern. So it's an ABC to the downside, ABC up, ABC down, ABC up, ABC down, like another up, another down that we are expecting today. So yesterday we had this move to the downside from the levels of the upper threshold of the descending triangle. We had the move A, uh, during the Asian session, let's say we had this move B, I do believe that move B has ended already right here with some sort of bearish price action emerging. So we do expect a continuation of this downward swing inside this ABC final. I do believe this will be the final ABC pattern during this sideways range. So a downward move is expected to the levels of 101.55 during the day. We can divide this basically into two targets, 101.75 and then 101.60 roughly. This is what we will be looking for during today's trading day. On the opposite side, looking at the euro, it's pretty much doing the same. However, on the opposite side, we're having this sideways range, a slight price channel tilting to the upwards here. So it's a move down, up, down. We do expect a continuation up. And again, it's an ABC formation, a multiple ABC wave formations here. So this is one. This is another ABC to the upside. This is another ABC. However, it will be visible on shorter time frames. And another A, B, which I do really believe has concluded already, and we will be targeting a move to the upside. So the euro is bullish as long as we are trading above the levels of the last low, 1.0850. Roughly, this is the main or the key support. As long as we're trading and holding our trading above, we will be targeting the key high or resistance around the 1.0930 roughly, and that's for the euro. So overall, the major pairs are expected to have a similar, let's say, behavior during today. The pound is basically in a sideways range and another minor sideways range in the big sideways range. This is the key support, 1.2350. I do might expect a slight downward move to those levels. It's just around 15 pips. And from here, we will be targeting again the resistance of 1.2413. If you are willing to go and trade um, and buy the pound versus the dollar, your stop should be just below this support with enough room for the prices to breathe. And yeah, it's a just tight one-to-one reward to risk ratio. On the other hand, the dollar versus the Japanese yen, another sideways range. We will not be counting all of the ABCs. However, another ABC here is in place, and we are expecting the continuation of this wave C to the downside. Our first target should be 129.50, and then the 129.05 should be the following target during today's trading. So yeah, let's have a look on the other pairs. I mean, when I had a look on the Canadian and the Australian pairs, it shows very good potential on the short and the medium term because the Euro Canadian, for example, on the long term, on the daily time frame, you can see that the last high that we just formed during this week, 25th of January, that was on Wednesday, it's basically a higher high on prices. However, it's a lower high on the momentum indicator. So it's a clear bearish divergence. Uh, and yesterday also was a great engulfing candlestick. So yeah, we do believe that the Euro Canadian is having more potential or more room to a downward move. And the first target will be 1.4407, just around 100 pips from here. On the 1 hour time frame, be aware that from those levels, current levels, we might see an upward correction before moving to the downside. So please keep your eye on the Euro Canadian. It will have a correction of around, let's say, 50 or 40 points, 50 points roughly. So I'll be looking on the 50% Fibonacci here. And as soon as this expected correction concludes, you might short the euro Canadian back to the levels of 1.4407 roughly. It should be a solid trade that we will be having maybe play out next week. Just a moment and I'll be right back with you. As for the pound versus the Canadian dollar, it's pretty much doing the same. Although this high that was formed on the 19th of Jan is slightly lower than the previous one, however, the momentum is also a lot weaker. Okay, so this is another bearish divergence here. And on the 4-hour time frame, we are expecting a move lower to the 1.6450 roughly. And this should play out immediately. So we are not waiting for any retracements to take place. So a move lower to the 1.6450 is something we will definitely look for immediately. Having a look on gold, basically, just to wrap this live session up. Um, Gold is currently trading near very critical support levels. It's not a single level, they are just a bunch of support levels here, just around the levels of 1920. And from here, just because we are expecting a downward move on the dollar to take place, so we might see an upward move on the gold trading during the day to the levels of 1934 roughly. This is what we will be expecting on the short term on gold trading. Yeah, a final look on the US Dow Jones. It's basically trading to the upside. So we are having this slight correction here or a retracement to the levels of 33,810. And from here, it might be a good opportunity to go long and basically target the levels of 34,000. So markets are pretty much expected to move in very tight ranges for today. We will be waiting for the PCE price index to see what will happen and how would this affect the dollar. Of course, any major data to be announced on the dollar will for sure affect the gold and the major currency pairs. So that was all for today's live analysis session. Thank you so much for watching this. We will meet up again on Monday. Thank you and please stay safe.